Hi guys, welcome! Today's delicious recipe is mole poblano, and I couldn't be more excited to share this authentic Mexican classic with you. Mole is a rich, thick sauce that is made from nuts, seeds, chilies, chocolate, and fruit. All of these ingredients tie in together perfectly. The flavor is complex and overall just amazing. There are different types of mole and they vary in color. Some are red, dark brown, yellow, black, even green. The most popular moles are from Oaxaca and Puebla. Mole is a vital part of Mexican cuisine, so much that the origins are sort of a mystery, and I just have to tell you about it because it's so interesting. Some believe mole dates back to the era of Mesoamerica and that Moctezuma served it to Cortés when he arrived to Mexico, believing that he was a god. The other story comes from Puebla, Mexico, where this poblano mole recipe originates. It is said that a nun created the dish for a high-ranking bishop. So as you can tell, mole has a lot of history and fascinating stories. And yes, mole is somewhat time-consuming when making from scratch. It really is a labor of love, but it's all worth it though. You'll notice when watching this video that it's not hard to make. You just need to prepare ahead of time by having all of the ingredients ready and make some time for it. Mole poblano is dark brown in color. Its sweetness and mild spiciness are both balanced nicely, and you can also modify them to your liking. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post veganized recipes every single week, and if you're interested in this delicious mole, let's begin. These are the seeds and nuts that you're gonna need. They are a vital part of making mole. Starting from the top left, I have sesame seeds. Right next to them are the anise seeds, not star anise, but the seeds found inside of it. Also a small cinnamon stick. And all the way to the right are the bay leaves and whole cloves. And on the bottom left, those green seeds are pepitas, which are pumpkin seeds that don't have a shell. They have been roasted and salted and they're super tasty, and that's the way you buy them. They're just good on their own. And in the center are peanuts, and all the way to the right are skinless almonds. If your almonds have skin on them, all you have to do is blanch them in hot water for a few minutes, and after that you allow them to cool down a bit and the skin should peel right off. These ingredients right here are just as important. You're gonna need chile ancho, which is a mild pepper, chile mulato, these are low in heat and sweeter than the ancho chile. These are a must-have in this mole poblano. Also, for an added kick, I'm gonna add a few chiles de arbol. Those are the little red ones at the very top. And you're gonna need a bolillo, similar to a French baguette, onion, garlic, as well as a Mexican chocolate bar, and a plantain. I hope these main ingredients are not overwhelming for you. They can all easily be found in a Mexican grocery store where they are very common. When you're ready to make this mole, the first thing you're gonna need is a hot pan. Here is mine, which I added a little bit of oil. I'm using coconut oil because I ran out of my avocado oil. But yeah, just add a little bit of it, and in no particular order, we're gonna begin to toast all of our ingredients. Well, almost all of them. Start with the pepitas. They are cooking over a medium flame, so I am stirring with a cooking spoon to ensure they don't burn. We just want them nice and toasted, and you're gonna do this to all of the nuts and seeds. Well, we'll start off with that because other ingredients need to be toasted as well. And once they look something like this, you can set them aside and move on with the next. So for me, it was the almonds. Once again, they're skinless almonds, and you're gonna do the exact same thing. Add a little bit of oil and just toast until they look something like this. When they're nice and golden brown, then I went on to add the peanuts. I toasted them as well, and once the nuts were all toasted, I moved on to the seeds, starting with the anise seed. Here it is. I am also toasting it with a little bit of oil, and I'm gonna stir around. Be careful not to burn it, just like with the other ingredients, but this one's a little bit more sensitive, so just be a little careful. Maybe turn down the flame, and when it browns like that, you can remove it. Next, I'm adding the sesame seeds, and I'm doing the exact same thing. Once it's toasted, also setting aside with the other nuts and seeds. Now I'm moving on to the garlic as well as the onion, and we're gonna do the exact same thing, add a little bit of oil. So this is pretty much a repetitive process. You're gonna do this to almost all of the ingredients. And once they look nice and golden like this, you can also remove them. That's good enough. And what I'm gonna do next is add the raisins, which I think I forgot to mention earlier with the other ingredients. You also need raisins. I apologize for that, but all the ingredients will be listed in the description box below. And what you want to do with the raisins is also add oil and allow them to puff up a bit. This will happen maybe after 30 seconds. So once they kind of start becoming brighter in color and they puff up, you can remove them. That's all they need. They just need a little bit. And now that they are out, I'm adding the sliced plantain. And if you watched my what I eat in a day video from last month, you'll know that I made fried plantain, but that was the sweet version. I coated it with coconut sugar. So that's pretty much the same process. You're gonna fry it the exact same way. You want it to become golden on both sides and really tender, and that's how you know it's ready. Now moving on to the bay leaves as well as the cinnamon stick and whole cloves. You want to lightly toast them in oil as well, only for a few seconds, just to bring out the flavor. Here's the bolillo, which I cut into pieces, and I'm drizzling oil to get it nice and golden brown on both sides. When it looks something like this, remove it as well and set it aside with the other ingredients. Onto the chili peppers, you're gonna need to cut open and de-seed the mulatto peppers as well as the ancho peppers, and when they're nice and flat, you want to place them in your frying pan with about a teaspoon or two of oil and cook them for about 30 seconds on each side over a medium flame, ensuring that they don't burn, because if they do, they could become bitter. For the red chile de arbol, which is the skinny red one, that's the spicy one, you do not need to remove the seeds or cut it open, but do remove the stems and also get it nice and toasty like you did with the other chilies and set aside. And I do want to apologize, I'm not sure how this happened, but I did lose a clip for this process. This next step is optional, but if you've ever cooked with Mexican chocolate tablets like these, you know that they're really hard and kind of dangerous if you're cutting with a knife, at least for me. So what I'm doing here is just blanching it in really hot water just to soften it. That way it'll be easier to blend, and that's all I'm doing really. So this right here is perfect. I am now gonna turn off the flame and it's good to go. Alright guys, I don't know about you, but I think this looks beautiful, and by the way, it smells amazing. All the spices and nuts, everything that's been toasted smells really good, and I really hope this isn't too overwhelming for you. I mean, there are 16 ingredients, but they cooked fairly fast. I would think within 2 minutes they were all toasted, 2 minutes or less actually, and we are one step closer to the mole. The next step is to blend it all up, so that's what we're gonna do now. Here's my blender cup. I did add a little bit of water to make the blending easier, then the nuts and seeds in no particular order. I blended, then I added more water and the remaining ingredients. I should mention that the raisins act like a sweetener in the mole. If you don't like your mole to taste too sweet, you can definitely add a few raisins at a time, blend it, and taste it until the sweetness is just right for you. Or if you're like me and you like your mole on the sweeter side, you can add my measurement, which will be listed below in the description box. But once again, it's definitely a preference thing. And as far as the Mexican chocolate bar goes, it's also sweet but not overwhelming. It adds a lot of depth. It's actually one of the key ingredients in the dish. So I added the whole chocolate bar. But again, if you're unsure, you can maybe start with half of the chocolate bar and feel it out. Also, you guys know from my other recipes that I love to use vegan bouillon because it's a great substitute for chicken stock. So of course, I flavored my mole with some vegan bouillon to give it that chicken stock flavor that is usually used. And then I blended up the bread. So pretty much all of the ingredients that we toasted were blended up with water and seasoned with salt and bouillon. And after that, what you want to do is pour it in a pot once it's smooth like this. And this is where you could, again, continue to adjust to your taste. If this is too thick for you, you can add more water, and there really will be no issue with this at all. All I have to do is adjust the seasonings once again, maybe add a little bit more salt. As for me, I actually went back and added more Chiles de Arbol because it wasn't spicy enough for my taste. And that's it, guys. All you do is allow it to simmer for 5 to 7 minutes over a low flame. We want the flavors to intensify, and really this is it. You've made your very own mole poblano, which is pretty amazing. This mole poblano is ready to serve. I sprinkled some toasted sesame seeds over it and served it in my beautiful Mexican clay bowl that I love very much. And there are different ways to eat mole. My favorite way has always been over chicken with the side of rice and beans and warm tortillas. So of course I have my store-bought vegan chicken. Gardein is a really good brand. Theirs is always really tasty and it tastes really similar to the real thing. But if you want a healthier option, you can definitely substitute the vegan chicken strips for mushrooms. You can use your favorite mushrooms, and because I love mushrooms, I'm actually doing both. So here I have oyster mushrooms that I cut and flavored with a little bit of vegan chicken bouillon, and what I'm gonna do next is sear them to give them an amazing texture. I actually got this great tip from watching some of my favorite vegan YouTubers, which are Gas from Avant-Garde Vegan and Lauren Toyota from Hot for Food. So watching their videos recently, I learned a new trick. So all you need is a very hot cast iron skillet, add a bit of oil, then your mushrooms, then place a smaller heavy object over them, preferably another cast iron skillet, which I did not have, so I actually went into my backyard, grabbed a brick and placed it over my comal, and this made it heavy enough to press down on the mushrooms. I cooked them like this for about 5 minutes, then I drained some of the liquid that the mushrooms released, and I continued to cook them over a high flame for another 5 minutes. Then I removed my comal, and this is what they look like. It's pretty amazing. They look just like shredded chicken, but it's not. It's mushroom, and it just did such an amazing job at searing them, and that flavored it so much. It made the biggest difference. So this method is definitely a must try. Here are both of my warmed up proteins. To the right I have vegan chicken strips, and to the left I have the oyster mushrooms that I seared, and they're both really good. Finally, I am combining the delicious warm mole poblano with the vegan chicken. I also toasted extra sesame seeds and sprinkled it all over. And this right here is my plate of mole with a side of rice, beans, and warm tortillas. Seriously, how amazing is this? Mole is a special dish made with amazing ingredients that add so much richness to it. And really, it's just a taste of Mexico and a great reminder of its deep-rooted, beautiful culture and food. I hope you try this mole poblano. It's seriously awesome. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for weekly veganized recipes. Until the next one.